Hello and happy Valentine's Day.
And now, your Seattle real estate market update with Aaron Janus.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to your February market update. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us start with some numbers. Let's start with prices. We look at prices across Seattle. We're looking at a median price of $670,000, which is up about 4.7% year over year. If we take a look at the Eastside, we are at $780,000, which is down about 2.5% year over year. If we take a look at the entirety of King County, we're looking at just shy of $590,000, which is up about 4.5% year over year, according to the Northwest Multiple Listing Service. All right, now let's take a look at inventory. So if we look at just Seattle, we're down about 32.9% year over year in terms of active inventory. Pending sales are actually down about 2.5%. So this means a 1.38 month supply of inventory just in the city of Seattle. If we take a look at the East Side, we're down 47.5% year over year, but pending sales were up about 4.8%. It's 1.58 months worth of supply on the East Side. If we look at King County in its entirety, we're down about 42.5% year over year in terms of active inventory. Pending sales are actually up 1%. If we look at across the county, 1.27 months worth of supply. That is not very much at all. Now let's have a look at interest rates. As we discussed last month, these historically low rates are one of the things contributing to the market that we're in right now. So according to Freddie Mac, for the week ending February 13th, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage was 3.47%. And that's down 0.9% from the same time last year when rates were at 4.37. Freddie Mac says the mortgage demand remains robust. If you remember last month, we talked about preparing for the spring market. Well, it seems since then, spring has sprung. One of the indicators of this are the number of offer review periods that we see. So this is where a seller will list a home on a Thursday, say, and then review offers the following Tuesday. So some interesting stats that we pulled out. This is for the first 2 weeks of February. And these are homes active and pending in our MLS right now that are doing offer review periods. So we're finding that of the 1,125, and this is in King County, 358 have a review date. So that's 32%. So almost a third of the listings in King County have an offer review date. If you look at just Seattle itself, out of 374, 128 have an offer review date. So not too much different, about 34%. So just over a third. Now you'll find if you dig into these numbers a little bit more that there are particular neighborhoods that nearly everything that comes on the market in those neighborhoods are doing an offer review period. One such example is Finney Ridge, where a couple weeks ago took some buyers through a home, loved it, wanted to get a competitive offer put together, so we did a pre-inspection. While we were at the pre-inspection, we counted up all the business cards, and there were 115 of them. And after just a few days on the market, that is a considerable amount of traffic through the home. Fortunately, at the end of the day, we put together the most competitive bid that we could, but it ended up going 15% over the list price, which was beyond our reach, with 17 offers. So that's our spring market right now. This is purely a matter of supply and demand. There's very little by way of supply, and there's extraordinary demand. So that's a real life example of how these numbers are playing out on the streets. So what does this mean to you as a seller? Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but really now is the time to sell. Now is the time to sell. Now, what does this mean to you as a buyer? Well, we talked about a third of the properties doing offer review periods, meaning they're probably going to be a bit more competitive. But that also means that 2/3 of the properties out there are not doing offer review periods. And yeah, maybe some of those properties may need a little bit more work than some of the turnkey properties that are getting all of the attention. But there's some really great opportunities if that's the case. I think that what's important, you can only strengthen your offer to a certain extent, right? I mean, you can only offer so much money. You can only remove so many contingencies. When you get to the point where you have really maxed out the strength of your offer, it's probably a good time to look at your list of deal killers and look at your list of must-haves and maybe make some adjustments. While this market can be challenging for buyers, having some patience and some flexibility will serve you well. There are plenty of opportunities out there, and there most certainly is an opportunity for you. Thank you for joining us for another market update. We appreciate having you, and we hope you found it enjoyable and valuable. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback on this or any of the other content that we're putting out. Speaking of which, if you click over here, you'll get to see our latest video of behind the scenes where we're doing a home inspection. Pretty fun. And then if you would, we would love it and be honored if you'd click over there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on your market update. Take care.
House goals realized. JanusGroup at RE/MAX Integrity.
It's a tooth!